Alright. Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Corey Loses, where today we are having another community match in Imperial Civil War 2.2.5. So, like usual, I am just going to open up the lobbies, and then it'll be free to join for anyone. Echo? Is it echoing? Or... Okay, well... Alright, so I'm just going to get the first lobby open in a second here. So, I think we're going to start off with a 2v2. I need to get there. There we go. So we're going to go on Frozen Waste. It's been multiple times requested that I play the Empire of the Hand first. So, we'll do that. And, yeah. So we'll probably go for like an hour and a half today, depending on how many people are around and want to play. So we'll do that. And yeah, so I'll play Empire of the Hand, then I'll probably play Pentastar Alignment after that. We'll probably have time for well, sometimes the games have gone like an hour, but assuming it doesn't, then assuming anyone ever joins. That's really the thing. But, if not, I guess I can place... No, a Raidu, that'd be an episode behind. Probably NJO, maybe. I don't have Halo Custom Edition. Skill level doesn't matter. People can be as bad as they want. Right, we got Lino in here. Lionel Huts. I will give it... Someone gave you $1,000, would you play the Alliance mod multiplayer? Yes. Well, for how long? Hey there, Fubbles. Thanks for the sub yesterday. I'm doing pretty good. Yourself? But yeah, how long would I have to play Alliance for? Hello, Lucas. Thanks for the sub, Drake. Appreciate it. Because if we're talking like another 12-hour stream for Alliance, okay, a full game, yeah. So that's fine. I'd do that. Not 55 hours. That definitely wouldn't work out for me. Man, this is like the first time the games didn't immediately full up, let alone stay mostly empty. Alright, so I'm going to do... I'll just start this as a 1v1 then, and we'll see if there's anyone else that wants to play afterwards. Hey Diana, how's it going?
Ready for action. TIE Squadron here. Course set. Station ready.
Alright.
Vehicle in production.
So I have no one to blame if I lose. What Empire of the Hand? What's the origin? So, the Empire of the Hand was formed when Thrawn was sent out into the unknown regions. So it was basically a thing between him and Palpatine. where they basically faked Thrawn falling into disgrace with the Empire. Then he sent him out with a small task force to secretly colonize and control parts of the unknown regions. But it didn't really stay under the control of the Empire. It just ended up being a thing that Thrawn controlled, and the people were primarily loyal to Thrawn. So they started to get a bunch of resources filtered in from the Chiss Ascendancy as well. Generally, people within, or Chiss within, are Chiss people? Yeah. Generally, people within the Chiss Ascendancy that were annoyed by... So the Chiss had this thing where they weren't allowed to do preemptive strikes. So they could never be the aggressors in a war. And there were some people like Thrawn who thought that was not good, and that there were a bunch of threats out there that the Empire, or that the Chiss needed to fight but weren't. So in a lot of ways, the Empire of the Hand became kind of a way for the Empire of the Hand, or for the Chiss to fight those threats. But yeah, so that's your basic Empire of the Hand history lesson.
Beginning construction.
Setting course. Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Awaiting your orders.
Decoding transmission.
Okay.
Coming in quick. More enemy craft.
Constructing unit.
Taking fire.
Upgrade in progress.
Onside frigate here.
Awaiting orders.
Frigate standing by.
Commander, they're hitting us.
Construction complete.
Journey class
Choose
frigate
your
here.
Where'd
reinforcements.
he go?
Ahead full.
I've got them in my sights.
Journey class frigate here.
Can you go somewhere that you won't die? There you go. No dying allowed.
Yes, sir.
Reporting.
Building under construction.
No, the Empire of the Hand doesn't have any Clone Wars ships.
Upgrade.
The Pentastar alignment has a few,
Awaiting your orders.
but
Commander.
that's about it.
Ready for action.
Constructing unit.
And then when we do Fall of the Republic, both of those factions will only have Clone Wars models, or Clone Wars ships, because it's the Clone Wars.
Construction complete.
Alright, so got good control of the mines over here. We should have those ones. I'm going to bring this one in over here so I can turn it around.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Destination plot.
Well, Meldrud has the Providence in GC, but a lot of the Clone Wars ships for the other factions aren't in skirmish.
Construction complete.
Frigate standing by. Moving to those coordinates.
Station ready.
Alright,
Tech
can
upgrade
afford
in
that.
progress.
Let's get
Upgrade in
that.
progress.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Frontside frigate here.
Upgrade complete.
Order.
Yeah, the Acclimator's pretty common in skirmish.
Fire.
That is a fact.
Sir.
Frigate standing by.
Coming back around for another run.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders.
Getting a lock. Falling out of formation. Orbital command available.
Right, so we're going to be up an X-Tech level.
Fire.
We're making a good amount of money.
Frontside
Yeah, money, yeah, yeah.
destination plotted.
Attack formation.
Journey class frigate here.
Go after the stragglers.
Tech upgrade complete.
Will CSA be mostly Clone Wars ships? No. The CSA will have more Clone Wars stuff than other factions, but they do have some other stuff.
Hypervelocity.
So, well, it's probably half and half, actually, so...
Velocity cannon firing.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Frontside frigate here. Yes, sir.
Die squadron standing by. At your command.
Alright, let's go with
Unit
a
in
Chaff, a
production.
Warlord,
I'm on them.
a
Constructing
Aphthonia.
unit.
Build that.
Reinforcement available.
Awaiting your orders. Journey-class frigate here.
Hey, Nemesis, how's it going?
Star Destroyer at the ready.
Do I want to jump that in there? Not really.
Yes, sir.
Yet. I kinda do.
Ready for battle.
Okay, you're gonna go up this way. Just need to make sure they're not gonna get too much control there.
Tech
May as well
upgrade
queue
in
that up
progress.
and get another chaff.
Vehicle in production.
I kinda want to change some of the way production works in skirmish still.
Drive
Warlord
engaged.
class gunship here, sir.
Hypervelocity gun
Acknowledged,
available.
sir.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Awaiting your orders. Heavy assault cruiser ready. All batteries fire. Engaging threat.
Cruiser reporting.
Okay, we need more fighters.
Navigating to coordinates.
Nah. There we go.
Broadside frigate here. Journey class frigate here.
Where'd he go?
We stand ready.
Okay, if you would actually shoot them.
Bringing mega mazes to bear. Heavy assault cruiser ready. All batteries fire.
That could have gone much better.
Navigating to coordinates. Back around for another run. Getting alarm.
As you're back in pulse.
Awaiting orders. Copy. Commencing attack run.
Frigate standing by. Yes, sir.
Intersecting.
Star Destroyer at the ready.
Stay in formation.
Okay. That VO really is way too common.
Get behind them.
Hypervelocity gun available.
High-velocity cannon firing.
I think that's a Scarsis that has that one.
Awaiting orders.
It needs to go away.
Awaiting your orders. Broadside frigate here.
No, the Asserter is going to be in Araidu.
Journey class frigate here.
The Imperial Remnant already has access to so many SSDs. Don't really need to give him another one.
Yes, sir.
Transfer all power to shield.
Tech upgrade complete.
Star Destroyer at the ready.
Holding fire for maximum transmission. Coming in.
Our hangar.
Vehicle
Okay,
in production.
Cultist, Phalanx.
Yes, sir.
Target locked.
Awaiting your orders.
Eliminating target. Enemy cracked. Taking fire.
Well, in skirmish, the bonuses that the AI gets is more noticeable. The thing about campaign AI, though, is that they're not just fighting you; they're fighting every. They're fighting each other as well. And when they're fighting each other, they can only use auto-resolve. So imagine yourself trying to go through a campaign only using auto-resolve against 6 of the other 7 factions. And
Journey class frigate.
that's why they take so many extra losses.
Star Destroyer at the ready.
Yes, Commander.
Space station under attack.
Yeah, No Man's Sky was fun. I'll probably do...
Heavy assault.
I definitely want to do more of that. Okay, I'm gonna...
Upgrade in progress.
This...
Star Destroyer at the ready. All batteries ready.
Changing course to intercept.
I'll have to go and stop that one.
Our primary engine system is down. TIE squadron here. Engines activated.
Heavy assault cruiser ready.
Our launch bay has been destroyed. We've lost our turbo lasers. TIEs reporting in.
Star.
I got it.
Choose your reinforcements.
Location locked. Heading out.
Orders, sir. Location plotted.
Stay at the ready.
Falling out of formation.
Heavy assault cruiser ready.
Attack formation.
Bringing mega mazes to bear. All batteries fire.
Hypervelocity gun available.
Awaiting your orders.
Hypervelocity gun available.
Star Destroyer front open.
Enemies
Our
in
space
range.
station is under attack.
Bringing mega mazes to
Ready for command, sir. They're coming in quick.
Alright.
Orbital command available. Eliminating target.
Vehicle in production.
Target locked.
Ready to receive orders.
I'm on them. TIE squadron standing by. More enemy.
heavy assault cruiser ready.
Taking fire.
All batteries fire.
Commander, they're hitting us.
Engaging threat.
Where'd he go?
Hypervelocity cannon firing.
Heavy destroyer stands ready. Coordinates received.
Alright, we should be in good shape now.
Upgrade in progress.
Stay in formation.
What's your opinion on the sci-fi warm-up? I've never played it.
Fire. Ion engine.
I don't usually like mods that are mostly just like unit compilations though, and it seems like that's kind of what that is. So,
Firing target. Roger that.
Awaiting new instructions,
Destroyer
Commander.
comms open.
Our space station is under attack.
Us journey class frigate here.
Attack formation.
Commence attack.
Go after the stragglers. I have them now. I'm on them. Excellent shot.
Heavy destroyer stands ready. Initialize general bombardment.
Awaiting orders.
Decoding your transmission.
For another attack.
Hypervelocity gun available.
I got them.
I remember Empire has it. So the special weapon index, I don't know that you can really add different types. Like you can add other stuff to shoot, I'm pretty sure, but it just not different effects. So ultimately, instead of working on the extra effects, so far we prioritized just other stuff in the mod, which means that rather than having like a planetary mega mazer or something,
Ready to receive
we've stuck with the HV gun for the Empire of the Hand at first. Eventually we'll probably give the Empire of the Hand a planetary mega mazer, but
I copy.
again, hasn't really been a priority right now.
Commander. Heavy destroyer stands ready.
They're hitting us.
Destroyer comms open. Mega mazers
Locking
prime.
on.
We'll get there.
Here, we'll have to help that.
My sights. Coming back around for
Our
another
shields are down.
lock. Receiving message. Target locked.
Vehicle in production.
Where'd he go? Intercepting. Eliminating target.
Ready to receive orders.
Reporting.
Decoding your transmission.
I'm on them.
Things are ready.
Awaiting new instructions, Commander.
Nowhere to run.
Yes, sir.
Star Destroyer comms open. Ascended
Falling
teams are
out
ready.
Choose
formation.
your
Draw
reinforcements.
their
Location
fire.
locked. Heading out.
Decoding transmission.
Okay, I need a bunch of
Vehicle in production.
these and then another one of
In
those.
production.
Sir, I've detected. All fire there, sir. Stay in formation. I got one.
Plan to return big realistic. What do you mean return? I mean, if you mean do poly counts to the level of remake, then no. That's way too high poly for the game to run properly. We try to stay generally below 10,000 polys for capital ships and below 30,000 for SSDs, so we'll probably bump the Executor up a bit, but we're not going above that,
Class frigate here.
because that's when the game starts running really poorly or crashing.
Locking on. I'm on them.
Space station damaged.
Enemies in range. Target locked.
Awaiting new instructions, class frigate here.
In my sights.
Target their guns.
Eliminating target.
No, there just wasn't many people around when the game started for Lost Game, so started as a 1v1, and then we'll have probably like a 2v2 or more
Intercept.
afterwards.
Formation.
Journey class frigate here.
Ready.
Heavy destroyer stands ready.
TIE squadron here.
Choose your reinforcements.
Moving to those coordinates.
Plotting trajectory.
Ascendancy at the ready. I'm losing.
Decoding your transmission.
Nowhere to run.
What's the point of the Star Home? It's basically the Hapen flagship. So it's not a great combat ship, but it is
Upgrade in progress.
important.
Star Destroyer comms open.
It'll be a Hapen hero in that when they're a playable faction.
Orders confirmed. We'll get there. Draw their fire. Fire.
Awaiting new instructions, Commander.
Eyes reporting in. Ready to receive orders.
I've already done a few playthroughs in Republic at War and the Clone Wars 4.0, so they're on the channel if you want to look those up. The next Clone Wars playthrough we probably do, though, will most likely be in Fall of the Republic.
Awaiting your orders.
I don't know how well that'll line up with the airing of the next season, but that's the plan at least.
Velocity gun available.
I'm on them. Beginning construction.
Journey class frigate here.
Orders, sir.
Warlord class gunship here,
Choose
sir.
your reinforcements.
Already on it, sir.
Star Destroyer comms open. Location launch. Heading out. Fire sequence engaged.
Any AW mods caught your eye lately for playthrough? I'm really enjoying the mod, so I know to think of that here. Well, we're going to be doing another Phoenix Rising playthrough next, because there's been a bunch of changes and a bunch of additional stuff done since our last one.
To receive orders.
Warlord class gunship here, sir.
I'm probably going to do another skirmish match in
Fire when ready.
Campaign Commander, because it's been a while since we've done that as well.
Construction complete.
Ready for command, sir.
But I'm not sure what'll be after that. I'm going to keep an eye on the workshop, and then if people want to suggest stuff too, I'm open to that.
We stand ready.
Hypervelocity gun available.
Velocity cannon firing.
Awaiting new instructions, Commander.
Would you be inclined to do Infinities from the ground up for the Imperial Remnant and other warlords?
Ascendancy at the
Yeah, I'm not sure which GCs we're going to do each faction with, but I'd like to do
Constructing.
from the ground up for at least one of them. Because we've done it once on the channel with the community challenge stuff, and that was fun. So maybe it might just be a thing that we do for the community challenge playthroughs, because that'll hopefully be once every year. That'd be generally what you want to do, but
Decoding your transmission.
which doesn't sound like much. But then if you consider that each playthrough is like
Yes, sir.
2.5 months long, then it adds up. Okay.
Station ready.
Construction complete.
Vehicle in
Phalanx.
production.
Star Destroyer comms open.
Awaiting your orders.
Ready to receive
You need to
orders.
turn that way.
Roger that.
You guys can go up there. Well, in the mod, the VSD1,
Form up.
it's too good against fighters, because we've got basically the anti-fighter concussion missiles as stand-in for everything. Whereas we should and will change it to assault concussion missile launchers, which are the anti-ship variant, so they won't be as versatile, but they'll be
Awaiting new
better at
instructions,
the
Commander.
one thing that they're
Enemy command available.
sort of designed around.
Unit in production.
Getting a lock. Deploying squadron. Taking fire.
Journey class frigate here.
I copy.
Yes, sir.
I'm on them. Reporting. Stay in formation. Ready to receive orders. Get behind them.
Thanks, heavy destroyer stands
Choose
ready.
your reinforcements.
Vectors set.
Target locked. Yes, sir. Commander, they're hitting us. Eliminating
You
target.
going to have the Zan Consortium? No. They never really showed up other than FOC. Some of the ships showed up in individual places, but
Journey class frigate here.
Thanks, heavy destroyer stands ready.
Choose your
we have limited faction slots, and they weren't really relevant to anything.
Ready to receive orders.
I mean, the in-universe retcon that makes most sense is basically just saying that they fell apart right afterwards, but
Journey class frigate here.
what will the Havens use for land combat? At first, we'll probably just use other, like, New Republic units or something for them. But eventually we would want to design, like, other Haven ground units.
Choose your reinforcements.
Trajectory.
Let's get Thrawn in here.
Star Destroyer comms open. Thrawn would approve.
Awaiting new instructions, Commander.
Journey class frigate here.
I didn't want to quite attack yet, but
Destroyer stands ready.
Attack that target. Ready to receive orders. Getting a lock. Where you go?
there. Stay at her range.
At your command.
Upgrade in progress.
Weapons ready. Where to run.
Ion cannon
Falling
firing.
out of formation. Stay in formation. Draw their fire. I got it.
I guess a warlord.
Constructing unit.
Well, you shot the
Choose
cultist.
your reinforcements.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
Go after the stragglers.
Destroy them.
Ready to receive orders. I got one.
Awaiting new instructions, Commander.
Yeah, boarding shuttles have been in since the release of 2.2.
Weapons ready. Taking fire.
Awaiting your orders. Warlord class gunship
Choose
here,
your
sir.
reinforcements.
Admiral Thrawn reporting. They're hitting us.
Hypervelocity gun available.
Our target priority is the laser cannons.
Do you have something to report?
Us journey class frigate here.
How are your shields coming back? This took down your shields on its own in the first place.
Star Destroyer.
Oh well.
Warlord class
Receiving
gunship,
message.
yes, sir.
Unit in production.
Choose your reinforcements.
Acknowledge, sir.
I'm ready.
Yeah, skirmish doesn't have the boarding shuttles. They wouldn't really work especially well in skirmish. But it's based, the success chance is based on how high the health is. So then you'd be trying to get it low, then you'd be capturing it, and then you just have this damaged ship. So I was like, okay, well, this is useless now.
Right away. Ready for action.
Upgrade in progress.
Heavy destroyer stands ready.
Ready for the kill.
Decoding your transmission.
Thanks, pathfinding.
Save the ready. Thrawn would approve. Star Destroyer comms open. Mega Matrix Prime. You have need of my
Those
skills?
torpedo launchers must be destroyed.
Draw their fire.
Awaiting new instructions.
You're all just horrible, horrible pathfinding.
To receive orders.
At your beck and call.
Holding
Already
fire
on
for
it, sir.
maximum effect.
Save the ready.
Choose your reinforcements.
Whatever.
I already have a plan.
Cultist.
Save the ready.
Our launch bay is destroyed.
Hypervelocity gun available.
Tractor beam deactivated.
Heavy destroyer
I have calculated the possibility.
Yeah, well, you're dead. Good luck calculating stuff.
Sequence engaged. Ready to receive orders. Locking on. I am available.
Well, he's still giving his bonus, so yay. Not that it really matters, I guess. It's not. I don't think it's giving a fire rate recharge, and the Heltists are the most effective thing we have right now.
Station ready.
Unit in production.
More enemy craft.
Is it just me, or does the Executor class SSD have really derpy pathfinding, at least the hero one? So basically, the bigger the ship, the worse the pathfinding is going to be.
What is your analysis?
And there's not really much we can...
Available.
Target
do about that.
Maximum firepower.
I like the firing.
Like, we're trying stuff, but the basic pathfinding in the game is hard-coded, and it's just, like, the bigger the ship is, the worse it's going to be. So there's some fields that we're trying to play with, but it's not really an issue we're going to be able to completely change or solve.
Star Destroyer comms open. Firing sequence engaged.
I'm waiting.
Vehicle in production.
I do think I like having the heroes there, instead of being on the main base. Rip Thrawn.
Decoding your transmission.
Ready to receive orders.
We are victorious.
Right, good game, Leno.
Laser ready.
Thanks for playing. Shaq has his own ship. Well, I know Shaq did a voiceover for a unit in AOTR. I think it's Ramkota's Federer, but that's a different mod. Alright, so let's do this 2v2. Go to Core World, maybe? And I did say I'd play Pentastar next. Would including Mandalorian ships or ground forces be a good idea for University Imperial factions? Well, there's not really a reason that Imperial factions would have it. But the Mandalorians are their own little standalone militia faction on the galactic map. You can actually... I think it's really only feasible as the New Republic, because they're the only ones that are close enough. And the Empire only gets boarding shuttles in Era 2. But if you're the Republic, the New Republic, and you rush Mandalore, you can capture the Cadalbi. Yeah, sorry, Mike. Unfortunately, the lobby's full, so... we can't do PA versus Zinj, otherwise it gives the, like, must have more than one player for each faction or whatever error. So Zinj would have to switch to New Republic, Remnant, or Empire of the Hand. Any of the three. We just need a base game faction, or else that weird error happens, it seems. Want to play the smiley face next game? Maybe. Can't pull out the smiley face too often, or else it's gonna lose its specialness.
TIE Interceptor here. Course set.
Right, I'm gonna go this way.
Interceptor squad reporting.
Orbital command available.
Vehicle
I like
in
Raiders a
production.
lot. Raiders are great.
Constructing
Orders,
unit.
sir. Ready for command, sir. Instructions received.
I'm not, so I want to get some sort of like little model for my desk. I'm not sure if I want to get
Standing by.
the Raider from like just the X-Wings miniature Raider, or if I should get
Constructing.
my Raider model
Roger that.
3D
Engines
printed,
activated.
because both seem like it'd be
Your
cool.
reinforcements.
I'm not sure which would actually be cheaper. I really don't want to spend much money on it. But.
Building
IPV
under
reporting.
construction.
Choose your reinforcements.
Advancing.
Advancing.
Form up.
Cruiser online.
Awaiting orders.
Choose your reinforcements.
Navigating. Awaiting command.
Nowhere to go.
Awaiting your command.
Construction complete.
Who's ahead? Attacking.
I'm correct in thinking Space Skirmish is really snowballing. Yeah, so especially right now because it's so based on who can get the most mines the fastest. We do kind of want to change that, but it does generally mean like you're going for early resource rush, and then if you get control of it early, it's really hard to lose it later. And then a lot of that can change depending on the faction. Like the Empire of the Hand tends to have a harder time holding on and getting control early. The New Republic tends to be a little bit better at maintaining it, but
Closing on target. Ready. Target sighted.
Pursuing
Yes, sir.
forces. Target locked. Taking them out.
Attack.
Setting up my
Roger that. Initiating attack.
Sir,
Receiving message.
I've got him.
alright, I'm gonna get an
Your
Arquitens.
order, sir. Navigating.
I've got him.
Have you fixed the backdoor? What was wrong with it? We haven't received any reports about it, so if people don't report stuff, honestly, there's a lot of content in the mod, so it's really easy for us to not be able to find stuff, even if it seems obvious. Like, I'm not aware of there being any specific problems with the backdoor.
Constructing.
Reporting.
We're being targeted.
Taking fire. They're coming in quick. I've got him. Sir,
Awaiting orders.
So yeah, if you're waiting for something to get fixed, make sure you report it on the tech support,
Standing by.
taking fire.
the tech support board.
Eliminating
Copy.
target.
Fire.
I got it.
I copy.
Or at least check if it's been reported.
Construction complete.
Would Empire Reborn or Mandalorian faction be in game someday? There's already a Mandalorian faction in the game. It's just the Mandalorians were very small and not very powerful at this point, and the Empire Reborn was like about as small as possible. So it's
Upgrade in
not really as suitable for anything. We already have so many Imperial factions
Under construction.
that putting in like 7 more of the smallest ones doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really add much to the game, so we don't really plan to do that.
vehicle in production.
Especially when they're not very relevant. Like some of them we try to work into other factions, like give them ways for their heroes to be included in the other warlord factions, because it's hard to find other heroes for those smaller factions, or for the warlord factions. But really, Empire Reborn didn't really control much territory. They didn't really have much of a fleet. There's already so much Imperial stuff. Yep, the Mandalorian ship, the Cadalby, is in GC, because Mandalore starts as
What are your orders?
My scopes are
under the control of the Mandalorians,
Reinforcements.
with a Mandalorian fleet, with Mandalorian forces in general.
the others. Scum. I'm on them. Nowhere to go. Where'd he go? Target locked.
How high are the playable Hapens on the priority list? The playable Hapens are going to be the main thing we do for 2.4, so it'll work in between them and like the CSA is being done for 2.3, 2.4 is going to be the Hapens, and we're going to be working on them simultaneously for SINs and for AW.
Reinforcement available.
Yes, Commander.
We're hoping by then to have the first version of Fall of the Republic out at least. So if it turns out the 2.3 comes out really soon, we would probably put more time into Fall of the Republic first, and then work on the Hapens a little bit more right after that. But we've already started working on some preliminary stuff for
Constructing unit.
their roster, for their ship designs and stuff.
Ready, sir. Fire.
Are you going to do a Sith War anytime soon? We don't really have the resources to start a bunch of other mods on top of what we're already doing. Especially like art-wise, that takes a lot of time, and we have a lot we need to do for what we're doing already.
Choose your reinforcements.
Moving out. IPV reporting.
Yes, sir. Ion engines primed.
Reporting in.
Alright. Looks like we're pretty well in control here. Wahui's doing the tech level.
Hypervelocity gun available.
Copy that. Moving out. Awaiting command. What are your orders?
Engaging the enemy.
Charge laser cannons. Ready for orders.
Choose your reinforcements.
What is 2.5? Well, we're not necessarily going to be adding a new playable faction every release. There are still some other factions we do want to add or work on, but we also want to take some time to flesh out some of what's already there too, like giving a few more unique units to some of the Warlord factions, or we'll have to do some other stuff to add some more units for Fall of the Republic beyond what we want to do in the first release there, and some extra story stuff being fleshed out, so we might want to put more assets towards stuff that's just going to be adding story. So it's not always going to be that each release is a new playable faction, but there are still a few that we want to do. Mandalorians really didn't control anything at this point. They had Mandalore, and they had their own little defense fleet, but making them a full galactic power doesn't really work very well.
Intercepting. Cover me now.
Is adding the MC-30 as an early stage or missile boat ever been brought up? Yeah, so we are going to add the MC-30 back in at some point. We do have the model we made for Ascendancy, and we wanted to put that in. It was actually supposed to be in 2.2, but it just... we had to focus on some other stuff for a while, so it didn't get done on time. So it'll definitely be back at some point, hopefully 2.3. I don't really see any reason why it wouldn't be 2.3, but just in case we like forget or something, I don't want to jinx it.
Batteries online. Launching attack.
HV gun could always go through shields.
Attack position.
One of the few things in the mod where that's the case.
Pressing the attack. IPV reporting. Sir, initiating attack.
We don't have any plans to add the Battle of Endor. That's before the mod starts and has a lot of different characters than are in the mod.
Confirmed. IPV reporting.
Choose your reinforcements.
Right away. I've got him. At your command.
Vehicle in production.
Any more games am I doing?
I'm on this one.
3:55. I need to be done by 5.
Yes, sir.
So we've probably got time for at least one if it's a really long game. But probably we'll be able to get 2 more in.
At your command.
This one went pretty quickly. Like if we did the Battle of Endor, it would have to be in like a Galactic Civil War era mod. So we are going to be doing a lot of story-related stuff, but that'll mostly be in the period that the mod already covers.
Holding fire for maximum effect.
We'd be more likely to extend the timeline forward in ICW than back. Whereas if we were to cover a... Like, theoretically, if we did a Vong War mod, it would probably be an expansion of ICW, whereas if we were to do Galactic Civil War, it would be its own thing.
Attack.
Theoretically, that is just how it would be planned, most likely.
The launch bay is gone.
Which again isn't saying that that is the thing we're doing, just that is how I've always thought it would be structured if it was a thing we did.
Reporting in.
So I noticed that Space Comm gets a lot more attention than Ground Comm for most people. Anyone else notice that? That's because it's just generally better in EAW, and there's a lot more issues that you have to solve with Ground that aren't necessarily that easily solvable. With TR in particular, we, in the past, like before 2.1, we're mostly just focusing on making it kind of faster and less painful. Which is why with 2.3, we're focusing on, or 2.3 and 2.4, we're focusing on pretty significant mechanic overhauls. Like with Space, it was already kind of fun, and it's just like stylistic changes that get made, a few mechanical changes, and stuff that gets added on top. Good game, guys. Thanks for playing. But I'll get the next lobby open. But anyways, yeah, so for ground, you've gotta get a lot, like, you can't just really pile in the more units and then it's fun. Like, you have to do stuff to address how tedious it is, and that's generally more difficult. Not to mention the fact that getting new units for ground, like making new units for ground, is generally harder. Let's go back to Frozen Waste. I wanted to do Frozen Waste. There we go. I'm gonna do Empire next, I guess? Or New Republic? Yeah, I'll do Empire. But yeah, so there's very few people in the community that make their own assets in the first place. Most mods, especially now, just port stuff from other games, which we don't do. But the ones who did make their own assets, generally it would be space, because unless it's like a repulsor craft or something for ground, it's a lot harder because you have to animate it and everything, which is why there's fewer units. Infantry are especially difficult to make, but yeah. The Duskin League coming back, or are they gone forever? They've been back since 2.2.5. I think they're, yeah, here. The other thing about the Duskin League, though, is because the game, so there's a hard-coded 25 faction limit, or 21 faction limit. Once you put 22 in, the game crashes. But then we had the issue, the reason the Duskin League were disabled for so long was because if you go past the 17th faction slot, or if you go, I think it's 17 or past. So there's a chance that the game will crash on entering a battle with them, which we at first thought was something bugged in the Duskin League, but it was just a problem with the base game. So we've been trying to find ways to roll some of the factions into each other. So like we're probably going to combine Harsk and the Warlords, because we don't plan to make Harsk playable, so we may as well combine them to save the slot, because we have to really shuffle stuff around to get down to 16, and then we're thinking we can probably put hostile and neutral past it so that we can use 17 and 18 without issues. But we have to be really careful with how we spend the faction slots now. And it may seem like, oh, well, you're only at 8 playable factions, so 16 is really far away. But there's a bunch of other stuff in the background. There's also like the HAPE CSA, there's Mandalorians, there's neutral, hostile. So all that stuff that you don't necessarily think of as taking up a faction slot that does. So eventually we may have to make some adjustments even to playable factions if there's something more unique we want to put in that slot. And honestly, the Duskin League would probably be first on the chopping block if that happens. So we'll give it a little bit for the other 2 slots if anyone wants to join in. But will we continue the RimWorld series? Yeah, so the RimWorld series is definitely coming back, but it's just because I was doing it all streamed and I only just got back to streaming this week or last week. So that's definitely coming back. There's also a sale going on with Stardock, where they gave me an affiliate link, and RimWorld's included in that. So if people want to pick up RimWorld, Galactic Civilizations 2, shit, I forgot one of the other games. But there's a few games that are all packaged in the bundle together, and then if people want to buy that, there's a link on the community page, and I get a commission for that. So if you want to pick that up, it's a way to support the channel and get a few good games. But yeah. But yeah. Twi'leks and Trouble are coming back. All right, so I'll give it a minute and 10 seconds. Here we got Dale Spartan. Hey, Dale Spartan. Yeah, getting the mines early is really important. So Sir Epic, the community page for the channel, if you go to, I think it's, hold on, will that work? I'm gonna type a bit, sorry for everyone. .com/Corey loses/community. Does that work? Does it, maybe? It does. Alright, it's here. So basically you just go to youtube.com/Corey loses/community, and that'll bring up all the posts we put there. That's where I put the polls for the playable factions and stuff now. Like sometimes I do those on Patreon, sometimes I do those on the community page there. So it's a good place to check out every so often. I think it gives notifications on mobile, but it doesn't give notifications anywhere on the website, which is kind of weird. So I hope they change that just so people can see when there's been a post. Because I do like the stream schedule on there. I'm actually going to change that into a video post. I put up notifications like that. Just generally helpful information for people who want it. Alright. Looks like we got everyone in. So just gotta get Dale and You Don't Know ready up. You plan to remove the limit for 15 Nova Troopers, sad to see them have no chance of it. So yeah, when we change all the ground stuff, when we change the infantry types and roles and stuff, there'll probably be other stuff in that slot, or if we keep the Nova Troopers, we'd probably revisit how some of that works. Oh. Where'd Dale go? Looks like we lost Dale. Never seen him use it. Yeah, Sir Epic, I find it really useful, actually. Because there's a lot of stuff that where I want to... Okay, so Saber should be able to get back in. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that I want to do something about, but it doesn't really seem like it makes much sense for a video. The only problem I have with that community page is just that it's not super visible for people who aren't on mobile. Which is weird, because like YouTube does these email blasts sometimes when you have a channel, and they were like really going in on that page. It's like, well, then why don't you tell people about it? So I try to tell people. I try to mention it a few times in videos, but just, I don't know. Just seems like a thing where they could probably do some extra notifying too. Well, Saber, are you restarting your game, or is the slot just open? Okay. Okay. Well, I guess Drake's in. Okay. So, well, nope, that's fine. If anyone... I do plan to do this every week, so I'm not too stressed about saving slots and all that. It's... We'll just say the spot's open, so if Saber gets back in or if Drake gets back in, and then whichever, any of you. Because it's been already fairly long between the games now. And then like we're gonna be doing it again next week, so anyone who doesn't get in right now, it'll be next week and the week after that, and then the week after that will hopefully be Ascendancy, but then the week after that there'll be more ICW. Then we do have the Discord server too, so if people are ever looking for games with each other, when the actual community matches aren't going on, then that's open. And there's a pretty big group of people in there who are ICW players. I think we're almost at 2,500 members. A bunch were joining today, so that's fun. Ooh, hopefully Wahooey didn't crash. Uh-oh. I may have to rehost. I don't know if Wahooey's in chat. Did your game freeze or something? Oh, no, it didn't. Maybe. Alright, it's just loading. This can take some time anyways. Maybe. Yeah, I might have just... yeah. It's hard to say. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to rehost the game. Okay. Ethiopians. I will never play the Duskin League in skirmish. Not your fault. Just DAW things. I mean, it's been pretty stable this whole time, so... And last week we were... I don't think we had any significant issues last week either. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it has some issues. It's just what you expect when you live that EAW life. Looks like there's infighting amongst the other team on which faction they should play. Just like the Regal Empire. Uh-oh. Hey!
Yes, Commander.
Hey! Hey!
Ready. TIE interceptor here.
Ping's pretty good. FPS is pretty good. What a time to be alive. No, U-Wings are from the new canon,
In production.
so they wouldn't be part of Legends.
Interceptor squad reporting. Orders, sir. Deploying squadron.
Decoding transmission.
And the mod's a Legends mod.
Ready for command, sir.
Ready for action.
Lots of frigate
Vehicle
reporting.
in production.
Squadron standing by. Right away. Ready for battle. Moving out.
Choose your reinforcements.
Location confirmed.
Heading out. Roger that.
Lots of frigate reporting. Frigate here. Fall out.
Alright, I actually need that back just so I can see the colors. Because we're going to have some shared units, so...
Copy. Enemies in
Losing
range.
control. My scopes are jammed. I can't switch position. Where are the others?
Commence attack.
Shield's almost gone. Watch him. He's coming
Crews are
around.
online.
Choose your reinforcements.
Returning to
copy.
your position. I'll take care of this. Watch for enemy ships. Gun them down. Unable to shake them.
Yes, Commander.
Station ready.
Vehicle in production.
Roger that. Target confirmed. Destroy the torpedo launchers. I copy. Open fire.
I will take that out first. Hopefully... Oh, that sucks. One more time. Not Galactic Battlegrounds. It's not the game I want to play. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I'm trying to do right now. No! Stop it. Alright, so we'll give this one more shot. If it doesn't work, then I think we'll call it for the week. That's single player. I clicked on single player again. You got uglies. Uglies generally we probably won't start doing until after we've got there's already so many classes of actual starfighters, and uglies were mostly used by smaller groups, so they wouldn't have been especially common. So we're focusing more on major classes of starfighters that did exist, and there's still a bunch we can do. Then we might do some uglies later, but they don't really fit in many places that are necessary. Michael, basically it's first come first serve, so when the game's open, if there's open slots, then feel free to join, but this lobby's full right now. Who made the new intro? I did. I basically just sat there playing around in After Effects. So I never used it before, so I wanted to figure out how to use it and get a little bit better at editing and everything. So I played around with it, made the intro and outro stuff, like the Starfield and the text thing. I need to get a license, like the package license for Adobe once I have a bit more money, so that I can get like Illustrator and stuff, and then I can redo it with better path traces. So if you, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but if you look really closely at the letters when they're being traced, it's kind of weird. But overall, since it is my first time using it, I'm pretty happy with it. XG1s, alphas, they're Pro and Nova. They're all probably going to be included for some faction. Like right now, we're doing the TIE Punisher and Advanced Heavy Bomber and that kind of thing for Raidu, and then we'll probably go through and add other stuff to the other Imperial factions. So we're basically trying to get probably 1 or 2 more fighters for each one. It's only about a month or so, 2 months old. It would have been end of June. No, was it end of May? Middle of June? It's not that old.
Squad reporting. Course
Either way.
set. Instructions
Ready
received.
for action.
Constructing unit.
Orders, sir. Ready for command, sir. Engines activated.
Well, the New Republic already has so many fighter types.
Squadron standing by. Location plotted.
Station ready.
I'd rather use that time making other stuff for them.
Choose your reinforcements.
Location confirmed.
Ready for battle. Ion engines primed.
Orbital command available.
Roger that.
Cruiser online.
Constructing.
Lancer frigate reporting.
Choose your reinforcements.
Navigating.
Waiting orders.
Copy. Enemies in range.
Copy. Deploying squadron.
At your command.
Alright.
Unit in production.
Okay, you guys got that.
TIE squadron here. I copy.
Never use mods for the chat, is that not necessary? Right now, it's generally like
TIEs reporting in.
everyone on the channel is generally pretty mature, so it's never really been a problem. I mean, if the channel grows, then I'm sure at some point, just for like passing along information, or if anyone does show up who's being a dick, I'll probably need to mod some people. But right now, it's still a relatively small channel. Everyone's still pretty respectful of each other from everything I've seen, so I haven't really felt too much need for that yet.
I'm on this one. Reporting.
There was one Pokemon Reborn stream where one guy kept coming back on different accounts and just saying really racist crap.
Constructing
So,
unit.
but with Pokemon Reborn, I didn't even have to alt tab, so it wasn't even that big of a deal then, or that big of a problem.
Yes, sir.
Building under construction.
Alright, I'm gonna try to help them next.
Cruiser online.
Bomber squadron reporting.
Building started.
Dreadnought cruiser ready.
Choose your reinforcements.
Moving.
I mean, I figure if we're ever at a point where we're getting like
Dreadnought cruiser ready.
regularly 100 people watching the streams, because we've had, I think the most I've ever had was almost 200, and then it gets a little bit harder for me to follow what's going on and make sure that I'm seeing everything, or make sure that nothing gets kind of lost by the wayside. But as it is, it should be okay.
Heavy cruiser standing by. Firing turbo releases.
Taking fire.
Fire for effect.
Space station damaged.
Ready for action.
Construction complete.
Station ready.
I'm gonna get another
In
one.
production.
Captain here.
Captain Air.
Frequency
Ready.
open.
I'm gonna leave these guys here just so we can defend that.
Dreadnought cruiser ready. All ahead.
Go for that one.
All guns
Well, it's using powder weapons. Any plans for 3.1? I don't even know how many 2 points there'll be.
Heavy cruiser stepping by.
So who knows? What if we do like 2.11, 2.12, 2. It's hard to say. I mean, really, there was a significant difference between 1.3 and 2.0. If there was going to be something we called 3.0, it probably would have been 2.2. So I mean, it'd probably have to be a pretty significant change before we'd have a version jump like that.
Where do you go? Captain here. Nowhere to run. Fire for effect.
Holding fire for maximum effect.
Have you heard of or played the Star Wars mod for Arma 3? I've heard of and seen some Star Wars content for Arma 3. I've never used any of it, or I don't really know what extent it goes to, if you know what I mean. So I used to play a bit of Arma with like Sleverd, Scarecrow, and Davis, but I was never super into, like, I enjoyed playing with them, but I was never super into Arma to begin with. Don't waste your damage on that. We can capture that.
Cruiser reporting. The missile launchers are the primary target. Launching attack. Attack position. Navigating to coordinates. Disable those missile launchers.
I mean, once we're done the
Primary target.
New Horizons playthrough, I'd like to play one of this, either a Star Wars content pack or like the KOTOR era Star Wars mod for Stellaris.
We're in attack position. Batteries online. Ion cannons are our primary target.
Lots of frigate reporting.
At your command.
My scopes are jammed.
Receiving message.
Attack formation.
We need to get that mine back after, or under our,
Go after the straggling.
Vehicle in production.
under our station.
Weapons ready.
For another attack. Victim.
Flank speed.
Shields almost gone.
Yep, there's an ISD. That's helpful. We can take out those mines pretty soon. That'd be helpful too.
Standing by.
Go after them. Gun them down.
Decoding transmission.
Regroup.
Cruiser standing
They're
by.
coming in over here now.
Watch out.
Our space station is under
Well,
attack.
hopefully that'll give us the advantage on
Lots of frigate reporting.
the middle.
Not cruiser ready.
Much longer.
Choose your reinforcements.
Unable to shake them. Enemy craft. Target critical.
Let's go.
Taking fire.
Commander.
At your command.
Where'd he go? My scopes are
All
jammed.
fire on those ion cannons.
Taking fire. Nowhere to run.
Ready, sir. Move to attack.
Frigate here.
Choose your reinforcements.
This way.
Alright. What are your plans on voice lines? I'm going to hear Daligan one day. Well, we basically put out a casting call a few months ago. We got like 40 or 50 of them. That's why all the units have their own voices. But there'll still be more to do. So Waylawful's going to put out another call for that. We do have another voice actor for Dal. The main thing with that, though, is that if you have the disc version of the game, or if you have the GOG version of the game, that version of the mod doesn't have the voices, because that will hit the memory limits on saves and cause saves to crash. We basically need to leave some of the extra stuff out of those versions because we want the game to actually function.
We've lost our turbo laser.
Basically, the more memory you're using when saves are being created, the higher the chance of a save game crash, which was fixed entirely with the Steam version, but not fixed because they haven't done any patches for the GOG or the disc version, so we can't take advantage of that extra space.
Draw their fire. Attack formation. Go after
Shaq is supposed to be voicing something for the mod, but we haven't received his submission yet.
Cruiser stepping by.
Space station damaged.
Dreadnought
Shaq and Eckhart are both supposed to be voicing something at some point.
Commander, they're hitting us. Moving.
Primary engine system is down.
Nowhere to run.
My favorite Warlord faction? Probably Greater Maldrude.
Orbital command available.
I like a lot of the newer stuff we're doing for our Ido as well, but it's probably still Maldrude.
Captain here.
Because it's red, basically.
All guns, fire.
Holding fire for maximum effect.
Falling out of formation.
Our launch bay has been disabled. Our lasers have been destroyed.
Firing turbo lasers.
At your command.
Yes, Commander. Right away.
Okay, we're pretty much done here.
Space station under attack.
Returning to your position. I'll take care of this. Getting a lock. Closing on target.
Do you win more multiplayer games than you lose? I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty close to even. Someone wants to go back and check all the video logs and see what my overall record is. What do you think the best all-around ship for the game?
Where are the others?
Nebula Star Destroyers? Maybe? They're small enough that they don't really have any pathfinding issues. They have a really good amount of firepower and shield strength. Their fighters are all really good. There's nothing that they're really bad at. Like, their own anti-fighter stuff isn't good, but like, they have so many good fighters that
Cover me now.
I don't think it really ends up hurting them too much. Lando's coming back for Rips. Yeah, that's actually that's something I've been really looking forward to since they announced that movies were coming back, specifically Lando. So I'm happy that he'll be in 9.
Receiving message.
I got him.
Uh-oh. Oh.
He's about to be destroyed. Pursuing enemy forces.
Will the Havens or CSA get the boarding shuttle? I don't think so. We don't currently plan on it, but we'll see if that changes. Oh, Lucre Hulk.
Under control. Engines are malfunctioning. Go after them.
Hypervelocity cannon firing.
What are UHV gunning? VSD? It's gotta be. Yeah.
Watch him. He's coming around. Regroup.
Ion cannon systems are offline.
Alright. Well, that is looking like it's going to do it for this game, which is going to be our last one for the day, because I do need to get going soon. I don't think we have time. Yeah. No, I don't think I should. So yeah, that's going to do it for this week. Thanks for coming out, everyone who played, everyone who watched. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. We will be back to a more regular stream schedule this week, so I'm planning on like 4 streams coming up this week. sometimes on YouTube, sometimes on Twitch, sometimes on both. We'll have the NJO one coming up on Wednesday, that one for sure. Next Saturday will probably be the next community match, and then there will be 2 others. I'm going to try to get RimWorld back up this week, so that'll be the 3rd one, and then probably No Man's Sky for the 4th, seems likely. But yeah, so that's the plan. Yeah, so that... Is there anything else I wanted to say? I don't think so. I guess go vote on the poll for the next LP if you haven't done so already. The Greater Madrid is at like 40% though, so I don't know that that's going to change too much before it starts. We're a little under halfway through Aridu, probably, maybe a little over. So it'll probably be 3 or 4, about next month we should be starting the Greater Madrid one. But yeah, that's what's coming up. I'm just trying to distract from the fact that I just lost, so nobody pay attention to the actual video right now. Just listen to my voice. Don't, nope. I see you looking at the screen. Stop it. But thanks again for watching, everyone. Thanks for coming out, and I will see you next time. Bye.